those that are targeted are going to find out really quick that there is no federal investigation that's going to occur on your behalf. Even though you're documenting ex-Army, ex-Navy, ex-Air Force, ex-Marines, diversity and inclusion partners are being harassed inside of classrooms, schools, doctors' offices, lobbies, where you walk, where you eat, where you shop. These are what national security threats do. Active shooters, active threats, domestic terrorists. These aren't matters that you can solve on your own. It requires people that specialize in dealing with terror-related threats, like a terrorism task force. So the reason why you're not going to see any of these people arrested is because law enforcement is not trained to detect psychological operations. There are people within law enforcement which see these rare cases in their communities, but they butt out of it believing that it's a criminal investigation. Many of them are not smart enough to realize that there's no criminal investigation occurring. It's a harassment campaign. But to mask it, they utilize Sheriff Association partners sometimes in Texas Citizens Corps. They'll go to Public Works, Parks and Recreation. You select people. So when you take walks, you're wondering, why are you being harassed where you walk at? They go into stores and say you're a terrorist and a thief. They go to your block watch captain and say you're a pedophile or something horrible. And what this does is it puts in the minds of people that you're bad. They have information which comes from a trusted source. But what they're not being told is that the contractor that hired them or that spoke to them or tried to recruit them is involved in black ops. So these people which are harassing you in your neighborhood, they're typically veterans. And you're perhaps going to notice when you run their tags, you're going to find out a lot of these people have small little businesses. They're veteran-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. Some of them even have memberships to diversity and inclusion groups, which help them to get contracts with defense contractors. And then these people get a cut for referring you. So they utilize people as patsies and they leave no trace because everything is concealed. The only national security threats we face, fellow TIs, are groups and people within which seek to undermine our civil liberties. See, the overall general population of Americans just want to live their lives. Things like terrorism happen when people lose complete respect for a government or when people are oppressed, they're mass murdering people. It's like right now, let's say Iran attacked us. The government here would say, oh, an act of terrorism occurred. But then when we look at what they do by sending missiles over to Israel to bomb populations of people, innocent civilians, they don't say anything. So we live in a country which has a double standard. They say they support the Constitution, but they talk a lot in a classified environment and we don't know what's going on. And they don't even know exactly what those which receive these black budget funds at times are doing, or which are involved in SAPs, also known as, what do you call this, like an unacknowledged special access program. So if you're being harassed while shopping, while in line, they're trying to trigger you because the person with you isn't going to see what's going on, but you see because you've been harassed in a certain way. Let's say you've relocated from different states and you need to find out who these people are. One thing you may want to do is utilize different facial recognition programs. Save these people's images even years from now if you can't find out who they are, because typically the younger ones between 20 and to 60 eventually retire from like the CIA, the FBI, DHS, and start making profiles. Sometimes these people make mistakes. They typically use leased vehicles and go to a government vendor, but they outsource to their own to put this on them in an effort to facilitate a mass shooting or an attack in a school or highly populated area. Since I'm against violence, I make these videos because it's important that we understand the source of terrorism. And the source of terrorism lies with national security threats, which hide behind the flag as being righteous, while siphoning off money from the government and paying off their buddies and their friends to do this. You perhaps have noticed a lot of highly perverted people, a lot of radical feminism, and God bless these people. I'm not against them as a whole. A lot of these people are just paper pushers in these facilities. They don't really know what's going on. And these rare cases in communities where cops don't know what to do leaves them in a compromising situation, because now you have proof that they refuse to help you. And they're looking at your situation. They're thinking, if I was in his situation and he's gone to cops and federal agencies and they said, we're not going to help, well, what's his only option if he doesn't have a couple $100,000 to sue? So people will slap labels on you and make assumptions and say he could be a potential threat, he could be a potential this, he could be a legal threat, he could be an insider threat. And these people are so obsessed with terrorism that some of them have become the terrorist. And they have the audacity to have a U.S. flag outside their homes as if they represent us. And we've seen in our prior administration how bad it was. A lot of these people censored us, targeted us, and even denied us investigations. And the same still occurs to this very day, because cops aren't trained to detect this, and federal agencies work to protect their own. Don't be surprised if every single time you take a walk, you're harassed. And they may pass by you and 5 feet later do some type of loud skit that you recognize. And you see a pattern that defies the probability of an event. They're using veterans. They're concealing this sometimes through shady sheriff association members. In every state they exist. And some of them are interagency partners. They've received training through the FBI Training Academy. I hate to say it, you can't trust these people if they won't help you. And you have proof of crimes. So when you can't prove it, and when there's no motive that can be seen, because the perps have to clearly state what their motive is, well, then from there, through your research, you'll clearly see what their motive is. When you look at the cases of other people, it's to push people towards suicide. They want to promote learned helplessness. They want targets to lash out. They prevent.
Now, typically every morning I walk around this place. I park my car over there, and then I cross the street and I walk around this place called Victory Point. And there's even a website in regards to veterans. I guess they're going to be building a memorial out here at Victory Point. As many targets know, I have a really bad back problem. My back surgery would cost me over $100,000. I was hit by a semi, and what's this town called? I think it's called Lake City, Florida. It's above Ocala, and it hit me at 70 miles per hour while driving a compact vehicle. So right now I'm going to take my walk, and in the past I've been experiencing bizarre stuff here at Victory Point. So instead of taking a walk around this trail over here and going all the way around and going back to my car over there, I'm going to walk straight towards the lake, maybe sit up there for a while. Some days I can't walk much. So what the perpetrators would do was, when I was walking back to my car, sometimes they would park next to my vehicle, and then once I got to my vehicle, they'd honk the horn. Or once I got right here, as I was walking back to my vehicle, after 7.5 years, something really weird happened. 5 cars started arming their car doors the exact same moment I got back to my car. Well, what they didn't know is that I discreetly got their tags. because I went through here, went out and got the person's tag here, and then I went around and got their tags when they were at the stop sign. And they tried to go in different directions, but that didn't help them because that road that goes straight there is the one they took. And every time a car changed lanes, I got their tag. So they come as a group. And I started noticing the same person would come up here and then they would just stand there facing the parking lot versus facing the plants or facing the lake. And that was a sign of surveillance. At one time when I would walk around Victory Point and get right over here, I think my lens is a little dirty. Let me clean it real quick. Once I would be walking back to my car over here, you might be able to see there's a car or two there. One person would park their car there. They would walk up to me, whistle, go back to their car and leave. And then as I would go back to my car, something else would happen over there. Now, a few days ago, I made a video on this channel. And I shared with you guys something very bizarre. I'm going to pause the video for a moment until I get to that area. So typically I park over there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a car right there, about a quarter of a mile away. There's one car there. And it's just facing the lake. Well, I started parking there, and there'd be nobody there, and some car would park 3 feet from my car. So a few days ago, I made a video, and it shows what occurred. So I decided to drive over here to the boatyard in Clearmont, Florida. And as you can see, there's an area out here which isn't close at all to the building. I mean, it's like 10 or 20 feet away. It's probably like 300 feet away. So there's a slab of concrete, and I parked at the very end, right there. That concrete is at. You can see one person is parked there right now. So what the perpetrators did was they parked on the side of the building, made their presence known, and then reversed. And the whole entire time they were watching me. And then the exact moment I reversed after 28 minutes of being there, they came right to where I was parked, drove there, did a U-turn, and then went right back out. As I'm headed down the road, I see another vehicle just like theirs parked where I was parked at, but they weren't cutting grass. They were just standing there. Seemed kind of weird. So I noticed in Texas I had issues with public works and parks and recreation. I was targeted where I walked. I was harassed at malls and flagged. I was slandered to my block watch captain. And these outside agencies and contractors would flag me. So that's the same truck that was behind that building a while back. It has a hitch in the back. That day that I was at that other building. And they had the same sticker on their car. I'm making smaller channels because I want to keep a low profile. Underneath this video in the description tag, there'll be some links which will show that I'm documenting a pattern state by state. And what's really bizarre is that the people that were harassing me at Victory Point, they're being linked to a veterans group. It's really weird.